Okay, man. How's it?
How's
How's
it,
it?
man? Are you good?
I'm good, man.
Sure.
Do we greet our subscribers? Our 11 subscribers.
For now, they're 11, but sure.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, man. I think before we start,
Mm,
this is just another installation of Generation Great.
yeah.
If you
Th-
guys have not been tuning in or watching the
that episode.
podcast, this is one of our offering
Yeah,
as
yeah,
Generation Great.
yeah.
So yeah, man. Before we kick off, before we get controversial, let's start with doing some soul searching.
Soul searching.
Yeah, what are
Okay.
your meditations for the previous week or your mantras for the previous week?
Okay. So for this week, I was mostly meditating on gratitude.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us are not as grateful as we should be. And
yeah,
by saying that, I'm not saying that you should just be complacent or just
sure,
be content where you are,
sure,
pursue more, but be grateful of what you have. There are
sure.
people who have way less
Mm.
than you, and there are people who are struggling more than you. There are people who don't have like shelter,
Sure.
like they don't have like also they can't move like the ability to move, to see, to feel,
Yeah,
to hear, to
sure.
and we take that for granted. We always think that we're going to wake up the next day. The people
Sure.
didn't get to wake up
Yeah.
today, So
Okay.
I was thinking a lot about that we take so many things for granted. So for this week, I was just being like very grateful for everything. Although
Yeah.
I'm pursuing way more, Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you?
Man, for me, you just said something so powerful. How then do I? Because I think with mine is a bit different.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine was actually being open to certain things that are cringe or embarrassing.
Is it?
I think a
What
lot of the
happened?
times.
What happened
No,
to make
look,
you
nothing,
cringe and
nothing
embarrassed?
happened. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the times we don't really push ourselves to do certain things because they cringe or they embarrassing.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Oh,
want to
so
do
that's the
that.
perspective
So
that you're
that is
talking
the
about.
perspective I'm
Okay.
doing right now. I mean, even with this podcast,
Yeah.
there were moments where I'm just like,
That's cringe. That's
but
embarrassing. Yeah.
I'm open to allowing myself to feel that emotion and saying, look, as embarrassing or as cringe as whatever's going on, whatever I'm feeling at the time, I'm open to acknowledging and moving on and doing better.
Okay.
So that's just my perspective currently.
Yeah, yeah. But also the thing with cringe is it's cringe to other people. It's cringe until it's not cringe. It's
Oh
embarrassing
yeah,
until it's not embarrassing,
actually,
So,
Also, life is too short. We
bro,
are living in a floating rock
floating rock.
in the universe. Like nothing is as serious as
Yeah, in
we
the great
think it is. In the
yeah,
great scheme of things, we are
yeah,
insignificant,
in the
right?
greater scheme of things, also no one really gives a fuck.
Actually,
like
but
so
anyway,
it doesn't matter.
moving on to things that a lot of people don't give an F about. Okay, maybe that was a bad way to introduce it, but
Okay.
I've just been thinking a lot about relationships, man.
Yeah.
I think since it's a month of love, Umjolo is
Mm.
is the topic of the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're just also discussing what it means to be dating in 2024. Modern dating and the impact that social media has on dating and expectations as well.
And relationships.
And relationships, yeah. So I don't know, man. What is your take on Umjolo and you know? I think we should start by saying the views expressed and then
does not represent
does not
us or
represent
our
us.
or
Yeah.
the situationships or anything that.
But we are allowed to talk about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Sure.
right now, this is very difficult. Okay, so dating in 2024. I think also the thing with dating is how old are you? I think for a different age group, dating changes drastically.
Yeah.
I think dating at 20 and 21 is different when you're dating at 25 and 26, and different when you're dating at 28.
Sure.
Turning 29, so it's
And
also
in your
different.
30s,
and in your 30s, also it's also different.
That flow.
Yeah, but now what I've seen with dating is a lot of us are in situationships Like no one wants to commit. Like I think that's what's happening. Everyone
that's
is
the
in
biggest thing, man.
yeah.
Commitment.
Everyone is in like sort of a situationship. We
Yeah.
are not dating with intention. You know, I think it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know, I think that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to truly commit, and I find it hard to understand why aren't we dating with the goal to, you know.
But I think you know what sort of I think what throws a lot of people off is people getting into relationships for purposes of committing, because I think then it takes away the aspect of you learning someone and building. Because if the intention, yes, it is to commit, ultimately, you know, you have to commit, but let commitment not be the first step. Like there's also that period where we need, you know, courtship, we need shelane, go on dates, enjoy each other's company before we actually say, look, this is my person. And I truly believe that, because that's also where you discover if this is not for you. So if you get into a relationship and then you say, no, this is a committed relationship, then it leaves no room for people to fully express themselves and say, look, this is not working out.
So that's what I'm saying, that there's no intended goal. Like people are just, they just there, just, you know, there's no like goal. Okay, I'm looking for a partner, I'm not here to play. Sure. But also with what you're saying, there's like that dating stage and whatnot. Yeah. Mind you, I think also the thing with dating is people are looking for access to certain things. Guys are looking to access for sex. Women are looking for access to money, money or resources or dates. You know, you go on a date now, and next thing they ghost you. What about that 1,000 rand you spent on the date? What happens then? And you got nothing, you know. And that's where these kind of conversations come up about going 50-50. Know, about sex on the first date, you know,
because people want to bargain.
Exactly.
People want to bargain in relationships, and that's the most awkward thing for me. Because as I was driving here, I'm thinking, shit, like there has been instances where people have been in relationships. I mean, also including myself, but you also want to get something out of it, you know, and now it loses the organic aspect of it, where like, let's enjoy each other's company, man, and let's grow and let's do things that are fun. And I think dating for me now in my 30s has taken a new perspective, because or a new direction, because now I'm no longer focusing on I want to commit with you, but it's I enjoy your company. I want to enjoy your company. I want to learn more about you before I actually get to that point, right? And we also need to talk about the things that we want in this relationship, so that we align, right? So that we know it's okay. You are more focused on quality time. You are focused on this and this and this. There's also that aspect of fun. There's also that pleasure and whatnot that you also intend to have in this relationship. And if I can't then offer you that, then don't try and change me. Okay. Because if that is my perspective and I can't offer you certain things, then let's just call it quits.
I want to ask you this before we even get there. You were talking about this stage. So let's just talk before you guys before you get into a relationship.
Sure.
Let's talk about like that dating stage, that courting stage.
Sure.
How do you know then that the person is there with pure intentions? Like they also look at, because ngakhuluma kanti no isikhathi no-2. You know, how do you know that they're not there for resources or access to you? They want to just take pictures and post on Instagram, and that's all. After that, you discard it. That's what I want to know. How do you kind of navigate that? You know,
for me, it's always I can hold you accountable for the things you said.
Okay.
Whether you act, because obviously when they want something, they act a different way. And I think you were also just sharing something now that people will not reveal themselves when you are courting them.
They won't.
Intentions are. But I mean, as umuntu now, you look closely and watch a person's intention, and you watch what they do, not what they say. And then when that part in which when they said, look, for me, this is what I'm willing to do, in this relationship. When that is not happening, Baba, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to remind you and said, when we actually started, you said you value 1, 2, 3, and these are the traits that you are looking for in this relationship. So why are you not reciprocating, or why are you not holding your end of the bargain, right? And I think that is important, because I think Sheldon was right on the relationship agreement.
I think that's what we need, man.
We need, because dude,
I think we should get into Jolo contracts.
Jolo first, shanga khona ngathi umuntu usecourt, you're like, yo, yeah, dog, your obligations, you have not met your obligations, So I think for me, the aspect of I can hold you accountable for the things you said, and I can say, look, you said this, but you are behaving
in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way. Yeah. How about you?
So my thing is, it's again, it goes back to the access thing. The other part wants access without, like, we both want access with no commitment. Sure. So the other part wants,
we just want to test waters.
Yeah,
like, nothing too
one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah,
and even
nothing too serious.
Exactly. Even when you do get into the relationship with the person, you're ready to leave.
Sure.
And there's this. Yeah, there's this.
You said something powerful.
There's this misconception that love is all fun and games, and I think that's where social media comes into play.
Sure.
Social media has romanticized relationships so much.
Gifts.
Exactly. It's
luxurious trips to wherever.
Unrealistic expectations.
And we don't discuss the hard parts.
The hard part. That there'll be days when you don't love your partner, you're mad at your partner or whatever.
There'll be days where things are boring.
Exactly.
Like when your relationship is like boring, you're like, shit.
Those are the days when you actually have to work on it together, So social media has kind of like romanticized, and this is the thing. Women don't understand this. They just want the gifts and the dates but what if
I think it's a created expectations, because I think also not to bash women out there and their standards, but I really do think women don't know sometimes what they want, because they would see certain things happening for other people, and instead of them saying, oh, okay, I'm happy for them, but that's not what I want for me, they'll rather want you to behave a certain way. That's where you even find them comments like, Usbanbani, Usbusiso, and why are you not doing the same?
Exactly.
And it's like, no, but you are not in a relationship with Usbusiso, and the context of our relationship is way more different than your relationship with Usbusiso no Joyce, So I think also having a standard or a template of your own relationship and what works for you is very important.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the problem. Most women have like a herd mentality. Sure. They see something. That's why Valentine's is a big thing.
Yeah.
Valentine's is not as important as people. It's just
it's every day. Like Valentine's should be every day.
Exactly. I personally appreciate random acts of kindness or affection more than when you do something. Okay, I don't care.
Mind blowing.
Exactly. Like grand. I don't care for Valentine's.
Something
anyway.
grand so that you show.
Exactly. I don't care for Valentine's anyway. I mean, I'm a guy.
Yeah.
But if you were to put a chick here and ask her, would you prefer that I do something random on a random day, or do you want the biggest Valentine's gift? They'll choose the Valentine gift because every other chick is getting something. There's that pressure, that peer pressure. But I don't think that should be the case. I think when you genuinely do something, you do it regardless of the day or the time.
Sure.
So there's no expectation. It's just pure consideration. You know, I want to do this because you treat me in such and such way.
Sure.
And I think social media has ruined relationships in that it has now since Angithi value, it's digital. People are allowed to have certain expectations, and they can have certain standards. And my problem, can I tell you what my problem is? I was thinking about this week, that people will say they have high standards, but they'll have high standards for other people.
Sure.
But they don't have high standards for themselves. And they'll have unrealistic expectations for other people, but not unrealistic expectations for themselves.
Can you go far if you expect someone to go this length for this relationship, are you willing to do the same?
Because I think even besides that, just for your own personal goals, are you the person? If it doesn't make, look, I work out, right? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do like none of that, right? It only makes sense for me to say I want a chick who does the same, because I do the exact same thing. I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Because you can back it up and say, look, the reason why I want this because I'm also doing that.
So now you'll find a chick who drinks and smokes and does that and wants a guy. Like,
they call them what, low value, whatever.
You can't. I cannot interact with you like that because you're not upholding the high standards that you want from another person. It doesn't make sense. Like I truly trying to understand. And the person will say, I have high standards, high standards for others. Go to the gym, stop smoking, stop drinking, stop doing things that are detrimental to you. Self-improve. Yesterday we also talked about
self-love. It's deeper than just going to spas and going to like. But do you understand yourself?
Do the work first before you can expect the other person who has done the work. You know, but people, that's how people operate. They expect the other person to come with that standard. It doesn't make sense.
And also, I just wanna you touched on something very important right now. I think standards also, because I think that also plays a role in, modern relationships in terms of the standard that people set for their relationship themselves and their partners. And I think we also need to be very realistic. We live in a country where there's also
But do you know what's perpetuating this?
It's social media
with these videos where they ask how much should a guy earn
and
when they it doesn't make sense.
And I always say this, and it really deviates from the entire goal of you finding the person, because money, yes, you can find someone who has money, but they won't treat you right,
because they haven't done the work.
And I'm not gonna say paint everyone with the same brush. Some are genuinely great people, but I think one thing I've realized about relationship is I would rather have someone who's kind. They don't have to have money, but if they're kind, because it's who they are. It's not because they have money. Because you can be kind when you have money. You can give. You have access to like money or wealth to give. But someone who's kind, dog, there's something about someone who's kind. So they don't even expect you to return the favor. So it's just who they are, And I've deviated from dating with the standard of, but you must also bring this and whatnot to the table. But I'm looking at the character now. I'm like, 20 years from now, when money won't be an issue, I'm still going to be this person. I'm still going to be kind. I'm still going to be as understanding. I'm still going to be open-minded. Because also relationships require you to also be open-minded. Be open to be challenged about certain things. Look, I'm a proper Zulu man. And kunezinye izinto engiyibekayo eziyama-values game and they're my standards. And ngesinye isikhathi, when I'm also using ezinto or enforcing ezinye izinto to the detriment of the relationship, I'll need someone who's going to respectfully come and tell me, angiboni kahle lana, because I feel like this is not working out, or lento implementayo does not really go hand in hand, or does not really align with what the relationship wants. So I need someone who's also going to be open-minded and understand ukuthi kunezinye izinto esihlangana nazo and other standards that are going to be set by other people esingabazi. But we also need to always constantly realign and say, okay,
this is what we want for ourselves,
and this is what we want for our family, or this is what we want for the relationship.
Without having external influence. Without being influenced by social media, because at the end of the day, the people online are not there. Maseni too.
Sure,
they're not there. They're not there when you have to deal with.
And that's why it's so easy to fool people, because people are like expecting these grand gestures
every day, teddy bear,
and
every day, flowers, chocolates.
People will never. One of it's one thing about social media. People will never show you their lows. They will always show you their highs. They will never show you their lows. And I'm not saying they should show you their lows, but I'm saying also don't create a template of what you want based on someone else's template, because you'll always lose. because you don't know. Different ways in which
and different backgrounds and different
even how we love. I mean, my love language is acts of service. Because I will not constantly tell you I love you, but you'll see with the random things that I do for you. It might not even be like things that require finance. It's like the consideration and all these other things that I do to make your life easy. And that is the love language. And some are like, okay, I want to be told. And that's when we actually need to align and say, okay, look, am I willing to live with this person? Am I willing to build with this person when they come from such a background? Because your background also influences how you love. Because how you are with your family, because you spend a lot of time with your family, and how you then are with your family is how you'll be with the relationship. Because that's the form of love that that you grew up with.
And also you are building a new family.
Correct. And you'll want to use whatever you learned from your family. That's why with like families that are well put, or families where like there's a mom and dad, there's certain expectations for the people or the children who are from that marriage. When they look for relationships, they go and look for the same. They have a template of what love is, right? And because they'll tell you straight, this does not feel like love, and this feels for me like
my father used to do this for my mother.
You know what I mean? So I think that's that. Don't ever try also as a template when it comes to love and relationships. You'll always lose.
Because they're using another person's yardstick for their own relationship. It doesn't make sense. But also my thing now is social media has kind of also ruined there's this thing. It's called an entitlement switch.
Sure.
Do you know? So basically, the idea is dating online.
Sure.
Trying to find a partner online is more difficult now because women have this switch. They get so much attention, right?
Sure.
They get so much attention that online they're a 10, but offline, they're 6 or 5.
Sure.
So there's this switch that happens in their minds.
Where there's expectations created beforehand, before like we meet.
Yeah.
And now I get to learn that you snore.
Exactly. Okay, so, but besides, I'm just talking now in terms of like physical.
Looks. Oh, yeah.
So when you put the picture that they post online with filters and stuff, they're different in person.
Sure.
Right? And this person is still is meeting you with the mindset, I'm a 10, but that's only online.
Sure.
And it doesn't help that your friends are saying, yes, girl, slay in the comments, but in person you're a 6.
And not even just on looks, man, on your whole personality.
On your whole personality.
Yo, Mfana, that's also another thing with social media. The personality that
that's where I'm going.
Show online is different from the personality.
That's where I'm going. That since you think you look like a 10, you want to adopt a personality of a 10.
Sure.
That's where but you're not.
Damn.
That's where I wanted to go with this whole thing, that since you think you're a 10 because of the filters, because of the pictures, of the light angles, when you take the pictures and whatnot, you think that you're a 10. But in reality, you're a 6. That's like a 6. Don't now. Don't now try
another day of you being controversial.
Don't now try and act like you're a 10 when you're not.
But also, don't you think that should be like how you aspire to be? Because if you see yourself as like a 10, why? Why can't you act like a 10?
There's a fine line between delusion and reality.
Damn it, I aspire to be a 10. I'm going to act like a 10.
There's a fine line between delusion and reality. So you have to be realistic. So that's where, because remember, we get women get so much attention and validation online.
Sure.
Yeah. I will get Bashela almost every day, every minute. They have every right to have an ego that but now you have
But I
to
think
consider,
also people they have the worst choices ever. Yeah. And I've asked people this. I'm like, okay, I mean, given you had all these options, why? And then
what will they look for? What will they say? No, they saw the material. They didn't see the person.
Sure.
That's where the character comes into play, that you have to actually know the person outside of social media. That's what I mean. Now, my goal is not to date a chick. I want a chick who does not even have a digital footprint, because I know that she's not influenced by all the views online.
I don't really think also the influence. I think also just generally watching and observing, and also being honest about your choices and the people that you date. Because look, we also would date certain people because of, and you would say date because she has a video.
That's what you attract.
Go for. That's what I always attract. So it means there's a part of me that cannot identify amahlanya.
Can I tell you
that amahlanya appeals to me in a certain way? That's why I always go for them, and it's subconscious in a sense that you can't say you are looking for this and then go and date. And that's what happens now with dating. And I'm sorry, girls, you guys do this. You like to say, "Oh, I'm looking for a man who's kind, who's educated, who's whatnot."
You get everything.
You get that, and then you go like, yeah, bora, and then you go for
a chad,
and a chad, you know, and a chad fucks you up, and it's exciting. It's exciting. You know, you know,
that's our version.
Yeah. And you get like a person who's genuinely cares. And I posted this on our group, our game night group. Oh, I almost dropped my phone. I posted this on our game night group. I was like, girls, I can bet you girls have people in their DMs or people in their contacts that are good for them. But because girls always look for better, they will always go and want what they can't have. You know, and they'll always date the person that they can't have when they actually have someone Uma DMs Abu who's in their WhatsApp, who's actually telling them the things that they want to hear, who's actually showing them that
who could be everything that they
actually need, right? And it's always it's so complex. The excitement, yes, that person who listen to this, but they don't excite you, right? And that's always what I've always gotten when I ask someone about that concept. But do you have someone who's someone who really would make this relationship work, and someone vele onale mindset oyifunayo, but it's like no akachazi, but I mean I don't know what causes that.
So there's this quote that I always see online. So it goes like this: if you want a certain person, write the person that you want and become that person. So if you want a kind person, be kind first. If you want a gentle person, if you want it starts with you first.
Within.
So because it goes back to this. Exactly. It goes back to this unrealistic expectation. How do you want someone to love you when you don't love yourself? How do you want someone to respect you when you don't respect yourself?
Hey.
You know?
It
starts with you. You know, so you can only attract who you are. So if you keep on attracting the toxic women, there is a part of you. You know,
that is unhealed. That is also toxic.
That is toxic.
God, you just unlocked a whole lot more. Because now this conversation will now go to like self-love. I mean, yes, we've spoken about modern dating and love and whatnot right now. But I'm also like, but do people love themselves enough? Or are honest? Because self-love is like, it's not like going to spa and whatnot,
posting a picture on Facebook and Instagram and saying self-love just because you look good. No, it's not that. Because have you done the work on yourself?
Done the work on yourself?
So the problem is people don't do the work and they want a partner. Guess
who has done the work?
Exactly. Or even most people lack self-awareness and they've never done the work. But first, most people don't do the work and they'll go on dating apps to meet more people who haven't done the work, and then we get surprised when we're going through the most with relationships.
But also, why go out? And this is the thing about dating sometimes that I don't get. Why do you constantly go out? Except, wala, shy around. But why would you also look for something that you're not? For me, it really, it's a crazy expectation. But
that's because you don't have it. You always want what you don't have. It's lacking.
It's lacking.
So you'll want someone to love you, because
and
it's lacking. It's something that you don't have.
But it's such a sad perspective, because then
and
it
this is your perspective. Please continue.
So this is my perspective when it comes to love. Uguti, you'll always, a healthy kind of love is the one where I don't need you. Like I'm good on my own, but I would love to have you and to have your company, and I would love the next person to also have that. Like I'm genuinely content and complete on my own. I give myself all the things that I want to give myself, but it would be nice to have you to share whatever I have.
So
right?
Let me ask you something. What are the things that you look for? Like, have you written that down?
Yeah.
In like the next person?
Yeah.
What do you value the most? Can you just give me 3 things? Just 3. Yeah.
At the top of the list, kindness.
Okay.
Kindness for me. I think upbringing has always been like that. I come from a family where people are really kind.
Okay.
Big shout out to my grandmother and my grandfather for raising amazing kids. We never had much, but kindness was very important to us. Someone who's giving as well. I can't say, kindness can, also equate to giving, right? But someone who's giving, there is someone who has values, So for me, values, I mean, sense of you respect me, I respect you, you respect my family, you respect my work, you respect my friends, you respect my space, right? And those are the things I'm looking for. Yes, other things we are going to build in, because remember, if I come after you, it's because I want you, and I
desire. It's a desire.
I desire, and I can build that love. I can love you and want you, right? But I can't change you and make you kind.
Yep.
I can't change you and make you respect me. I can't change you and make you open-minded.
Why would you even deal with someone who doesn't respect you? I think for me personally,
so love for me is really consideration.
Yeah, okay.
Like, also considering how certain things will make me feel. Okay.
So my thing is respect. I don't care so much for love. I think if a woman respects you, then I think that's what we value more as men. Personally, I think,
because even the Bible does not really say anything about love. It says
it's my job as a man to love a woman, and then the woman has to respect me. So that's what I look for. I look for also kindness and consideration, and also I think the last one that I look for is principle and value. And someone who's going to listen to me. Not someone who's going to now always wants to.
Hey, here's the podcast. Like I need
someone who's going to be about me and no one else but me. And push my mission, because ultimately my mission is our mission.
If you're a leader,
we're winning. So not someone who's going to
challenge that,
or say
they can challenge your views on certain things, but they can never challenge who you are.
Exactly.
They can never challenge your essence.
If
I'm a leader and I obviously say this a lot. I love hard work. I'm driven. So I want someone who's not going to challenge that aspect of me, because it's the essence of who I am, right? And I think that's where now consideration comes into play. Because if I also I'm in a relationship with you, I also need to consider certain things that make you right, and certain things that, even the bad parts, man. But I also need to consider, okay, now when you are very strategic in your thinking and in your understanding, right? But love just requires the understanding, guys. I think with a lot of other things we can build, but understand each other, man, and then have these other things that you have said, like you said, your respect, your kindness and whatnot. But understand
the next person.
Understand the next person.
Be considerate. Just understand the next person.
Yeah.
And that's true. And also, it doesn't help like being influenced by other people, man. I think the biggest problem is the outside influence. Social media, the pressure from other people, own lane, own race. And
own pace.
On pace. Why should you worry about what the other couple is doing? Why should you worry about?
Also remember that thing. There's a video. I'm not sure if I showed you. where the person was saying that when you are ice skiing, when they look for trees, they look for obstacles so that they can. And then they said, you are not going to have sight of the route because you're constantly looking for things that could block you.
Exactly.
And I think that's the problem with looking at other people's relationships, because you are not looking at what you have and your blessings and what you are building. It's, I'm looking there so I can take and build, but you don't even have the right materials. To build, but you are also looking at someone's house.
It goes back to the goal. What is the goal? And also there's certain people who don't need love, who need healing, and there's certain people who are not dating for love or for
they're dating for desperation,
or they for survival.
Survival,
they're looking for resources. It's a transaction. There's no actual genuine desire to build with the next person. I think that's the biggest thing that we're experiencing. Everyone is just willing to buy at the slightest
inconvenience,
slightest cringe.
Slice a dog.
What do they call it? It's not cringe. It's what's this?
Flight.
Ick. As soon as you have an ick, it's got everything's down the drain, and those are so insignificant. But relationship ends out of that. What when you did such and such, and it's an ick for me,
and then
and you're like, it's such
a minor, so insignificant in this relationship.
End a relationship, but they're ending, and you start to wonder what type of people or relationships or girls that we're dealing with.
No, let's be honest. Complex, dog.
But we make it complex.
Complex, man. But
we make it complex. I think it's again, I'm going to go back to social media. Not that I'm blaming or anything, but it's what has been perpetuated by social media. That relationships are supposed to be this,
like this,
rose. It's work. Everything. Love is not easy. Love requires hard work. You have to
put in the work as well
with the partner. This is the goal. We have to work
on it. It's not just you committed and then that's it.
No,
that's where the problems. Constantly work on the relationship.
Constantly talk about.
If you are a man and you are leading a woman in a relationship, you constantly need to ask her to say, look, are we doing fine?
Are we still aligned?
Because then there's no point in you leading someone or being in a relationship with someone if they can't give you feedback. If they can't tell you, okay, better, let's realign. That's what I'm saying.
That's when cheating starts. And we haven't even touched on cheating.
You're not even telling the next person and men also need to be open-minded. If spice things up, dog. Do other things. Go an extra mile and do the things as the locals are, right? And you girls don't just relax and be like, this relationship will work. Also, take your men out first on dates. Do something fun for him. Buy him petrol. Buy him tires. Buy him.
You just want someone to buy you petrol. You just want someone to buy you gas.
Buy people things.
You just want someone
to the relationship and show that you are also committed. Don't consider it as well in that relationship. Don't expect. And take and expect someone to give.
It's dangerous.
People are gonna leave you. People are gonna leave you.
And
we reciprocate. That's we also reciprocate from a place of healing and a place of love. Don't reciprocate
just because
you want to
because it's
someone.
Valentine's.
Do you know someone said something, the most shocking thing ever? He said a man is not kept, a man will stay. Don't do things to keep a man. No. Don't do things to keep a woman. If the person wants to stay, they'll stay. You are not required to do. That's why healing and working on yourself is very important, because you don't even have to work so hard to keep someone, because it's the essence of who you are. If you are considerate and you are kind and whatnot, it's the essence of who you are, and you do it daily without even requiring.
But now the problem with the relationships is when you try and be that person, the girl will have an ick and say, he's too considerate.
That's why I'm saying,
and that's what I'm saying.
What's you need to crash on your own, and stuff that you also need to work on your own, right? And I'm there to support you, right? But there are things that you need to also take charge of and work on them, and that's it for me. We need to be two consenting adults who are trying to make certain things work. If we are both healed, we move.
Okay.
That's it for me. And on your side?
My thing is, I think people should just be able to discern truth from reality. Be realistic. Sure. This thing of having unrealistic expectation from other people and being entitled to other people, as you're saying, you haven't done the work, but you're entitled. You want this, you want that. You're just a taker, but you haven't done any work on your part. Is very detrimental. Sure. I think, but the problem is, we can say this all day. People lack self-awareness. They don't know why they act how they act. They don't think about why they think what they think.
That's an element of lacking self-love, real self-love. Because if you love yourself, they
don't know why they want a present on Valentine's Day. Sure. They just know that they want it. It's they don't know why they act how they act, because they haven't done the work. It goes back to what you're saying. It's doing work on yourself first, and then there's this quote that we always talk about.
You can't pour from an
empty cup.
Pour from an empty cup.
Self-love is not selfish. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't.
What are you even pouring? Because you don't have it.
I think a lot of us have to do the work first on ourselves before going out into the world to look for a partner. I think there's that first, doing work on self first. Then we can go into other parts of like your relationship. Are you getting something this day?
I don't know, man.
Are you getting something?
There are no expectations, man. But look, also, I think people must stop trying to change people. Like if someone shows you, because there are instances where someone shows you at the beginning of the relationship who they are,
we overlook
and
that.
Because you are happy there with, the bums, and then you disregard it, and then 3 months from now, you're now going to a police station, to report someone, because you failed to recognize the red flags when the relationship was started.
Me personally, I don't like toxic women. Personally,
and then you try and change people.
Yeah,
also, I must address this. Stop getting into relationships to change people.
Yep. Me personally, I don't like toxic women, and I see guys are like, I can't deal with that. I don't like crazy. It's too much work for me, because I've done work on myself.
It's too much
work having to deal with someone who's going to now scream and shout and what. Now I don't have time for that. Yeah. There are more important things in my life than all that, So
man. On that note, oh wow.
Yeah.